If you saw my previous video, How Do You Change for Good, video number 2, you know that you can change for good by altering your identity. In this video, we're going to help you to know where to look in order to change for good. In other words, what are some of the things that might be holding you back from that? So let's start from the beginning. How do we become the people that we are today? When we are born, we come into this world essentially with some very basic programming. Of course, we've got some DNA, but we haven't as yet been conditioned. We fear just two things: falling and sudden noises. Of course, that doesn't last long because we see things that we can't unsee. Our parents, for example, freaking out about a spider. It's then that we learn another fear, arachnophobia. There are over 500 recorded fears, so the list is likely to get longer as we grow older. So too is the conditioning. When I was younger, for example, every time a bill came in the mail, my parents would argue over money. So I came to believe that we were poor, invoices were bad, and blame was good. Blame meant that you could deflect your pain onto someone else. When those bills came in, Mum blamed Dad for using his electric saw too much, and Dad blamed Mum for having too many lights on in the house. Now, thankfully, later in my life, I learned neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP as it's known, to undo the conditioning and the limits I accepted into my thinking, because much of my thinking held me back big time from much of that early conditioning. Though you may be asking, what is NLP? Well, NLP helps you to learn how to change the conditioning that triggers our not so nice behaviors. Now, learning NLP is not unlike upgrading your computer, for example. Once installed, the new software improves how your computer functions. NLP helps to improve how your mind runs. NLP is hugely exciting to learn as it opens doors that were once jammed shut to opportunity. Now, knowing that you can change your limitations, you can resolve and dissolve your fears and remove your limiting beliefs or that stuck energy that's really holding you back. This makes NLP one of the most exciting courses you could ever do. Now, the one common sentence that our students often say on graduating from our NLP course is, "I wish I'd learned NLP years ago." Now, I'll pop a link in the description below if you would like to know more about NLP. So today, I would like to help you to know where to look in order to change for good. And I'm going to share an NLP model for change called perceptual filters of the mind. So let's start with our friend Homer here to help us to understand perceptual filters and where to start looking for what might be actually stopping us, limiting us, or holding us back. Now, any issue we have will be found in one or more of the perceptual filters. Now, there's 7 of them: language filter, attitudes filter, memories, beliefs, meta programs, values, and decisions. Now, this model makes it easier to find out where we need to focus our change work. So here is how our mind and its programming works. How we became who we are is due to how we take in data into our senses. Essentially, our eyes are sight, our ears are hearing, our nose smell, our mouth taste, and of course touch are essentially our five senses. And of course, our sixth sense, some may say, is our third eye or our intuition or the feelings that we actually have in our bodies. Our senses have witnessed our lives thus far, and we have actually built perceptual filters that govern all we think about and how we think about things, which actually sits in our mind. And this is the model that NLP uses, and it's very useful for isolating where to focus our time. Now, the content of these filters make up our identity, and we spoke about that in the last video. Now, according to American psychologist Mikhail Csikszentmihalyi, there are 2 million bits of information that come into our senses in any 1 second. Though we can't handle that much information, so we delete, we distort, and we generalize that information down to 7 plus or minus 2 bits of information. In other words, there is much we don't even know exists. And this is where it gets really exciting. What are we deleting, distorting, and generalizing? What are we missing? Let me give you a clue. Here's how our perceptual filters work in real life. Let's say we've walked into a building and into the reception area for our 10 a.m. job interview. There's lots going on in there, and if we could only see it, that would actually help us win the job, but we just don't see it, hear it, or experience it through our senses. It's the company's German office, and the woman directly in front of us with her laptop open says,
Ich hoffe, der nächste Bewerber schüttet mir nicht die Hand wie ein nasser Fisch.
But of course we don't understand German. We can't hear that she said, I hope the next job applicant doesn't shake my hand like a wet fish. In the meantime, we're sitting there, we're nervous, and we have sweaty palms, and we're apt to give wet fish handshakes. Our language filter doesn't include German, so we don't hear it. Trying to get to the interview on time, we dropped our coffee, so we're a bit annoyed that we spilt coffee on our jacket, and we're a bit gruff with the receptionist. That's our attitude filter. The last 3 interviews came to nothing as we didn't get either of those positions. That's in our memory filter. So without realizing it, we don't even think we're going to get this job. So why even put in our best effort? That's our beliefs filter. Being turned down 3 times already in a row by executives in the finance sector, we're not even sure we want to work in that industry anymore. That's our values filter. We prefer the big picture, and we're a people person, and we tend to be more literal in our communication style. We didn't understand what the receptionist meant when she said, "Do you normally wear a watch?" We simply replied, "Yes." That's our meta programs. It's the filters that determine how we actually think. So finally, after waiting 20 minutes without a word about our appointment, we head back to the receptionist. That's our decision filter, only to discover that our appointment was at 10 a.m. and we arrived at 8 minutes past 10. And if we weren't so nervous, we would have seen it. Our future boss, who was going to interview us, actually had been sitting in front of us the entire time, assessing us. We didn't get the job, and this now is our 4th strike out. All of our perceptual filters create an internal representation. In other words, we create meaning from all of the things that we've actually witnessed. And that creates a state, an emotional state, that influences our physiology, and the final outcome is our actual behavior. That's how our brain works in very simple form. Now, the unlucky candidate has now appointed me as their coach to help them understand why they're not getting jobs that they're applying for. And I have to find out the source of that problem. So the first place I will actually look is within my client's perceptual filters. Now, given that they've missed out on 4 jobs now, I'll have to go and do some work in the memory filter to remove the associated trauma. Otherwise, they're just going to keep missing out on jobs again and again and again. The next thing that I'll need to do is look at their values filter. I'll need to find out what their values are, as working in the finance sector might not even suit them at all. It might not match their values. The third filter that I see as having an issue is their beliefs filter. They don't even believe that they will be successful in any job interview, and will certainly need to switch that belief and fix that. So, if you're not succeeding in one area of your life, look no further than the perceptual filters of your mind: language, attitude, memories, beliefs, meta programs, values, and decisions. My name is Rick Schnabel from Life Beyond Limits. In the next video, I'm now going to go into detail about all these filters, and in the next one, we're going to focus on the beliefs filter. So if you have any beliefs that are stopping you or getting in your way, I'll show you what to do about it, so you can change for good. Now, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of our videos, click on the subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell. See you in the next video.